Hey there, I'm Jerry Kennedy. It's January 27th. We're on our 27th day of our month of wisdom. We're reading from Proverbs 27. There are 27 verses, and you have 27 opportunities to increase your wisdom. As you read through this chapter, I want you to notice a few interesting things. 14 verses directly mention men, but all of these verses are beneficial for both men and women. One verse directly mentions women, but it really has a message for both, telling men to avoid annoying and irritating women and telling women not to be annoying and irritating. Two verses talk about fools, and one verse specifically says that the fool is a man. The other verse could be either. One verse in there cracks me up because my wife and I use that tactic to try and scare each other. That verse is Proverbs 27:14. Incidentally, it is the center verse in the chapter, numerically speaking. There's 13 verses before and 13 verses after. So you could say this is the central theme of the chapter. The verse reads, "He who blesses his friend with a loud voice early in the morning, it will be reckoned a curse to him." So my wife and I sneak up on each other all the time and ask a routine question like, "What do you want for dinner?" Or "Did you feed the dogs?" But we say the first word in a loud voice, obviously trying to startle them. "What do you want for dinner?" "Did you feed the dogs?" And my favorite time to sneak up on Val is when she's putting on her makeup and she's really concentrating on a minute detail. And when she jerks and smears makeup across her face, it's so worth it. I lie and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was just trying to be nice and do you a favor." It's usually not convincing since I'm laughing hysterically. That never gets old, but I know that the moment of laughter will cost me. There will be a consequence for my actions. And this whole chapter is about actions and consequences. If you want to be wise, you will employ critical thinking in your life. Critical thinking is the process of thinking through actions and consequences. Addicts who have been through recovery will recognize this phrase. Play the movie to the end. The idea is that if you look at the end of a movie or the result of an action, you may change your mind about the initial action. An alcoholic may say, "Oh, I'm just going to have one drink," but one turns into two, and two turns into 10. And after 14 drinks, the person wakes up and appells his own vomit, or wakes up in a hospital room, or wakes up in jail. Maybe you would rethink, if this is the end of the movie, maybe I won't take that one drink. So critical thinking is a badly lacking in our world today. Many people don't bother to think for themselves, but just go along with whatever is popular in the moment. Critical thinking is a skill. In other words, it can be learned and practiced just like any other skill. The more you do it, the better you'll get. All the verses in this chapter are trying to get you to employ critical thinking by thinking through actions and consequences. The 14 men verses I mentioned have a pretty good message. Don't wander from your home or you'll be like a bird that wanders from her nest, homeless. You may also have to deal with a jealous husband, and that may not work so well for you. Also, don't let your eyes wander. Wandering eyes will be like hell, never satisfied. Be there for your friends and even your father's friends. And when you're in trouble, go to your friend. But don't co-sign a loan for your friend. Take care of your business. Get good at your business. Then you will always have whatever sustenance you need. And when you see trouble, don't just walk into it like a fool. And the last three verses, 25 through 27, have some old phrases that may have been real gems 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, but they probably don't relate that well for most people today. So I reworded them just a bit. We could call this JLP, Jerry's Living Paraphrase. Here it goes. When that old trusty source dries up, don't panic. Notice that there are other sources you didn't when your focus was on the old. Be open to new things, but don't rule out all your old provisions either. They will together be more than enough. There is always hope. And verse 27 has an odd appeal to me. I'm going to use this to end every conversation from now on. And there will be goat's milk, enough for your food, food for your household, and sustenance for your maidens. My prayer for you is verse 11. Be wise, people, and make my heart glad. Amen.